And welcome back to Mid-Ohio, where thankfully the rain has gone for now. We never know at this point. We turn our attention now to the US F4 Championship. And alongside me today for this one is Rafal Wolosz from Poland originally, but now living in the US of A. And proudly wears the Polish flag on the car, I noticed. But welcome. Really new to this. This is your first or debut weekend, so I'm amazed they've thrown you in the commentary booth. But hey, that's great though. It's great to learn more about new guys that are coming in. 17?
Yep, 17.
And what attracted you to this sport?
I believe the speed and just...
There you go. And learning. It is a big learning curve at this stage. Is it all coming a lot too quick at you, or are you handling it?
A lot of stuff bunched up, but I think I'm handling it pretty okay.
Well, I know you know some of these guys out here, certainly your teammate, Pablo Benites, but they were supposed to race earlier this morning, but of course it was rained off, so I'm sure they're much happier about the conditions right now, although all of them, I'm sure, yourself included, would race in the rain. But this morning it really was pretty atrocious, so they decided to give it a miss. But now they've got their chance to get back out there. And I guess this is where, at this point in the race, or this point in the weekend, you're out there on the formation lap. But it's really important because you really want to find out what the conditions and the grip is like out there, don't you?
Yep. We got a taste of it this morning. And first couple laps was pretty slippery, but later on it was nice and grippy.
So how do you get to this point? Because it's always interesting to hear a backstory of how you get into racing, and while you're only just starting out yourself at 17, how did you get to this point?
Well, my first try at motorsport was when I was around 7 years old. My dad was like, hey, let's have a fun time, visit a go-kart track. I guess that's where it kind of started. I had a bit of a break coming back to karts last year, and get a quick jump to F4. Brilliant.
So like I said, it's coming fast and thick at you, but this is the way to do it. This is the way to learn. And have you learned from the other drivers that are ahead of you, perhaps at this level?
Oh yeah, a lot, especially from my teammates. I learned what the car could do, what it wants to do, and just in general getting more confident in the car.
We've got a small field for this F4 race because there's a new car introduced this year, the Ligier, both with the engine and the chassis. And so this is a big step forward. We've also got the older car, the Ligier JS F4 car, which of course is what you've been racing. Do you find it a good car to drive?
Yeah, I really enjoy driving it. I know the new cars have had some problems, but I think they're pretty good stepping stone, the older cars, to get into these new ones.
Well, as you can see, they're forming up nicely 2 by 2 as they come towards the carousel. Still some damp patches out there, but pretty much it's just going to be a dry race, I believe. But it's going to be an interesting one. They're packed tightly and ready to go. Up to the line they come, and watch out for the 24 and the 15 of Daniel Quimby and Nicolas Stati, the two Australians going head-to-head, and they're still side-by-side as they dive through the first corner. Alex Crosbie of New Zealand in third position. He too making his way in F4 in the first time, double Formula 4 champion in New Zealand. And Crosbie under pressure already from the 44 as they cross the line. It was side-by-side stuff, but they're sorting themselves out now as they go into the keyhole for the first time. But it's Stati, Nicolas Stati, who's had a great start to his year. Didn't get to race this morning and was probably pretty disappointed to have to wait as long as they did. But they're still side-by-side. Amazing stuff as Daniel Quimby not giving an inch here and finally taking the impetus and the lead as they go down the back straight into turn 4 for the first time. But this is already shaping up to be a nice little race, this, don't you think, Rafal?
Yeah, they're looking very fast on track.
This complex is really particularly hard. Everybody describing it. We call it the Benites Bridge Hall complex of 4, 5, and 6. But tricky part of the track?
Yeah, very tricky, especially with the elevation changes. You lose a little bit of the car, but it's very exciting, very fun part as well.
Well, we haven't had too many great Polish international sports car or Formula One drivers. Robert Kubica springs to mind. But there's a few poles out there, but it's pretty small. Bike racing is big in Poland, but not so much four wheels, right? Mm-hmm. Rally's big, and that was obviously Kubica, that was where he had his accident.
Yeah.
Kubica, Robert Kubica, who we're talking about, made it to Formula One with Williams, then had a big accident while doing a rally race and lost a lot of use of his arm, his left arm, but still managed to come back to Formula One, and just a great story and a great guy to follow. Whoa, you can see how tricky it is out there. It's got Connor Roberts, who was involved in a big crash yesterday with Benites and got rolled over into the gravel. The car rolled and left him on its side, but Roberts just grabbing the wheel there to try and make sure he doesn't lose the car. So he really wants to finish this race off after a disappointment of yesterday. But I'm glad to say there are brief hints of the sun coming out. But it's Quimby who leads, and he's already taken a 1.7 second lead over Stati, who won the last race. Crosbie still third, Benites Jr. in fourth. Now, you've got to know Benites. How is he feeling about this one?
I feel he's always excited for every race, but especially some pressure from yesterday as because of the crash, the accident.
Because he got disqualified for causing it, right?
I believe so,
Yeah, it's a shame, because I looked at it and I talked to him about it, and he said, it looked to me as though, it should be that harsh a penalty. But there you go. What do I know? It's not my choice, and obviously there's blame to be apportioned. But it's still pretty tricky out there. You can see a few wiggles here and there under power, and these guys are going to have to be careful. Yeah, at this stage, it's easier to see from above where the patches are, or the wet patches are, than it is in the car, right?
Yeah. Extremely difficult to see the dry line down there.
And this is our first real look at the new car. It's only the second outing weekend for it. And big project for Ligier to take over from Honda and power the car as well. Low-sounding grunt. Got motorcycle technology involved in it. But they also produced the chassis, which is nothing new because they also did the older chassis. But this with the halo, as is FIA conformity now. And so this is definitely a step forward from the older car. And I'm guessing you'd like to get your hands on one of these and get into the real championship next year. But this is, like I said, your first weekend, right?
Yep. But that's the goal next year.
What do you think you've got to learn? What if you had to sort of put a finger on what you've got to learn, or that you're lacking at the moment? What would you say it is?
Really, I believe it's still confidence in the car, because I haven't been in it very long, and it does take some time to get used to.
Yeah, and the more you're out there, the more track time you get, the more comfortable you're going to be with it.
Exactly.
Well, there's the purple, white and gold of Alex Crosbie. Those actually interesting colour scheme. It's actually the colours of Invercargill, where he hails from, and Invercargill is at the southernmost point of the South Island of New Zealand, and if you know your geography, that is right looking out. Oh, that was a big moment. He almost went out there to the Antarctic. It's the southernmost point of New Zealand, famed in motorsport terms for the fastest Indian in the world. Burt Munro was his name, from Invercargill. There's also Brendan and Damon Leach, who hail from there. They've also done single-seaters. And now Brendan Leach going on to do Lamborghini racing. So they've had a fair few good motorsports guys, but Crosbie has made his way in Formula Ford in New Zealand. Did the FR Championship in New Zealand this year, taking on several Americans who are in FR this weekend. And that includes Jet Bowling and Landon Matriano Lim, and of course Patrick Woods-Toth, who's fighting for the championship. Ryan Sheehan did the series a year before that. So lots of experience, but not here in America. So the first real outing internationally for Alex Crosbie, and he's a soft-spoken man, Crosbie, but likes to do his talking on the track, and he's got a big future. I remember watching him in Formula 4 while I was down there, thinking, this guy is at the top each and every weekend. Now, back with Nicolas Stati. He's had a great run so far, Stati, the man from AGI Sport and Dalkeith in Australia. And we've had a good number of good Australians coming over to take on the American Championship. I would have argued that Australia, a bit like Poland, it's not, in single-seaters anyway, not that deep. It's got better. People like Christian Mansell and a few others have made their name. Tommy, his last name, Tommy Hill, yeah, that have gone on to FIA F3. And now the gap, less than a second. And where can you make up time on this track? Where do you feel comfortable? Is it all chasing the other guys, or is it particular corners where you feel confident?
I usually like to go a little faster on the corners. I had a tough time with the elevation changes.
Yeah.
Again, but I'm getting it down pretty well now.
Yeah, well, you forget how low you are, and when you see the television cameras, obviously we're above the action, and so when you get into a section like this, it flattens it out, does the TV, and you're coming across a lot of blind crests, aren't you?
Yep. We can't really see anything coming up a hill, so
yeah, no fun.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's the word. Crosbie still third. Benites Jr. will try to stay with Crosbie if he can. Roberts still in fifth, and Day, Lincoln Day in sixth place. He had a crash with Wolf, actually, funnily enough, yesterday, and they're battling it out again in sixth and seventh. And more cars to come online. This is a brand new car, and so they're making them as fast as they can, because literally we've got the Junior Series and the F4 Series, and we're expecting to have much more robust fields later. And that's how it was with FR when the first FR car came out. We only had like 4 cars at one point, but now we've got a full field, so it takes time. But so far, the other Australian, that is Quimby, doing a really good job, Daniel Quimby, and he's been one of the stars. Man from Sydney, Australia, sponsored by Fiji Airways. And he's got a healthy gap. And anything over a second is a healthy gap, I would say. And anything under a second, you've got to start thinking about it.
Yep. Similar to Formula One, you get DRS.
Oh, yeah.
Within 1 second, so.
Did you watch the Formula One today?
Yeah.
Enjoy it?
I did.
I've seen some highlights, but it looked like an interesting race. Now, the 54, that's the man I was talking about, Lincoln Day, who had a crash yesterday. He came and did some commentary with us. Interesting kid. And just wants to get a result under his belt after this one, for sure. Just see him working the wheel. How physical are these cars? I mean, it's a real workout, yeah?
Yeah, it's especially the corners. A lot of G's, and it's pretty difficult, especially for myself, a new driver, just getting used to that. The amount of force you have to use to actually turn the cars,
have you had to work out more since karting?
Yep.
I bet. Yeah, G-force is something you don't really prepare for or know about until you actually experience it. And yeah, it can be. I've done a few of these small single-seaters, and just for some laps and test laps, and you really notice it. And suddenly you find yourself with your head on your side like that, and you can't bring it up.
Yeah.
So you think, that's not good. I don't want to be leaned over like this. So yeah, you have to work on your neck muscles. Each race is 25 minutes, and usually each weekend they get 3 races, but this now down to 2 because of the weather. So very needed, this track time. And Stati's got some work to do if he's going to catch the man in front of him. And here's our first look at Wolf. Barrett Wolf came in here and did some commentary with us, the man from Las Vegas, Nevada. We were talking about the Formula One there earlier in the weekend, and it too is not a huge motor racing hub, but I think there's a bit more shine to it now with Formula One coming each and every year, and people getting to know it. He's sponsored by Make-A-Wish, as we heard, which is a charity, and it works with cancer patients, children mainly, basically granting them a wish, given that they're spending a lot of time in therapy and in hospital. And so the Make-A-Wish Foundation has been worldwide one of the great charities, and now with that on the side of the car, it doesn't bring a huge monetary value, and obviously they're a non-profit, but the awareness and the things that they do, and Barrett was telling me that he's been a part of Make-A-Wish since he was in high school, and built all sorts of things for Make-A-Wish patients, whether it be Sims, computers, you name it. So nice work by Barrett, and they're paying him back by getting some sponsorship on the side of the car. Motorhome Republic and Fiji Airways on the side of the car you just saw, Quimby's, and then Stati still in second place. The gap now 1.3 seconds. And I always say, as we were saying earlier, you know, anything under a second and it starts to get a little bit more worrying, but he's doing a good job of what I would call controlling this race at the moment. Just look at the times, 1:34.5, well, almost identical in their last laps, the two leaders. What kind of lap times are you getting in?
I believe my fastest today was around 36 in the rain.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. And what's your feeling on your first weekend? Are you more into it now?
Oh, yeah. Just completely excited for next ones to come as well.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, having a great time this weekend.
Where are you next?
I believe it's New Jersey.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been to New Jersey. I've done bike racing in New Jersey. It's a good little track.
Yep. And home race for me.
There you go, yeah. Get the family down.
Yeah.
Watching on the sidelines and monitoring the timing just as we are. Just over 11 minutes to go in this one. Yeah, New Jersey's going to be a big one, isn't it? So, have you got family coming down?
Yeah, lots of friends and family, so looking like a nice race.
So your dad took you to your first race. Is he still involved in helping you and being in your corner?
Yep, he's with me today as well, so helping me out all the way, both dad and mom.
Oh, that's great. And what is your ambition? What is your hopes? It seems to be changing. A lot of people used to say Formula One, but they know the realities of that. It's so hard. What do you say?
I think, like you said, a lot of people's dreams is to get to Formula One, same as mine. I know it's a road of a lot of hard work, but I believe anyone could do if they really want to.
Yeah.
I'd also like to race in a lot of other famous races like Le Mans,
yeah.
500. That'd be great as well. But yeah, I think Formula One's the goal right now.
Okay, you keep going. I love it. And the way Formula One is changing as well as it goes around the world and gets more exposure, it's really opened it up with social media and so on. And the popularity with series like Drive to Survive is really, certainly in this country, all boats rise, they say. And I've been hearing from every form of motorsport, Trans Am and single-seaters, on the way to Formula One, that everybody's getting more interested in what you're doing. And they know about racing more so. It used to be a situation where you'd have to explain it to people. But now everybody's kind of clued in and more aware of it.
Yep. It's a really exciting sport. The noise, the speed, even the accidents attract a lot of viewers. So it's a great sport to be part of.
I asked one of the other drivers earlier today, and I wonder what your take on this is, but I always think it must be a big leap to go from karting, where it's all about you, and let's say you and your dad, and you discuss it, and you kind of get the best out of yourself, but that's all there is to it. And you're either quick or you're not quick, and you work out why you're not. Now you have a team of people, you have data, you have all sorts of people dealing with the car, and almost using you as the focal point to move the whole team forward. That takes some adjustment, and it takes some trust on your part to say, okay, tell me tell me where to brake, tell me what to do. Are you finding it that easy or hard?
The team's been making it really easy for me, so I'm just having a great time. A lot of learning, as you said, with the data. The car has suspension, not like a go-kart. So
no, of course.
No, but it's big learning curve, but I'm enjoying every minute of it.
And what about the downforce with the wings? Because again, that's different.
Yeah, so a lot of times you can take corners faster than you think you can.
Right. So that's another trust thing in your own head, right?
Yeah, that was big, especially for me. because last time I was in an F4 car was in NOLA, so it was like months ago.
Yeah.
So it took me a little bit to regain my confidence in the car earlier this weekend.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because you didn't, like I said, this is your debut weekend in the Junior Series, in the F4 Junior Series, but you did what, SVRA?
Yep. I did an SVRA race in NOLA. So I was on track with an LMP3 prototype and some radicals, and it was just crazy.
Were they passing you a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, yeah, that would be quite scary, actually. But, yeah, great experience. But this is so different than NOLA, isn't it, as a track?
Yep.
So Stati keeping an eye on the leader, and the gap stays at 1.1 seconds. Now it's just over 7 minutes to go. Stati trying to edge that gap down a little bit, but Quimby got away well at the start, and the two Australians dominated from the Kiwi. And I think it's great. I mean, you know, basically for all intents and purposes, you're an American now, but it's great to race against international drivers because it gives you a sense of where you stack up. And I know you're just starting out, but in a few years' time, you'll be glad of the experience of racing with all these different nationalities.
Yep. Most certainly. And motorsports is international, so it's a great experience.
Here comes Benites Jr. on Crosbie. He's trying every which way. He's trying to hassle him into a mistake here, but this is starting to get exciting, and just at the right time too. Crosbie holding on to third place, but for how long is your mate Benites? Can he do it, I wonder? Or where will he make a move, do you think?
Turn 2, where they are right now, is a great place.
Yeah.
I know right after the long straight that they're coming on now is also a great place because you can brake really deep, have that banking in the corner. So I guess we'll just have to see.
Well, here we go, down that long back straight, and he's just not close enough to make an attack into the next braking corner, which is turn 4. Crosbie doing at least a decent job of holding him off for now. It gets close here into 5. But Crosbie will come across and defend. And the next right-hander 6. But he's right there with him. He definitely looks faster, doesn't he, from where we're looking, does Benites. And in fact, as they fight, Roberts is now coming into the picture, just behind. So Connor Roberts looking for a result out of this as well, after a DNF yesterday. Crosbie under pressure. Now, he's driven faster machines than this, as I said. Oh, he lost out there. Just at the carousel. He either missed a gear or just went wider than he should have. And he's given away that place, and he might also give Roberts a chance to come past as well. The 46 comes alongside as they head down the main straight, down to the first corner. Crosbie holds the line and holds on to 4th. Excuse me, holds on to 4th as Benites Jr. goes up to 3rd. A little bit of dust flying up there as they go wide, but now again, side by side, the two of them. And Roberts looking for a way past and makes it through on Crosbie. Or does he? Crosbie keeping the foot in out of the keyhole. So 2 places lost in the last few corners for Alex Crosbie of New Zealand. And Connor Roberts pounces. And Benites Jr. now looking for a podium. And that'll be good for the team.
Oh, for sure. Especially with Teddy leading the championship. It's great for the team.
Yeah, no kidding. Pablo Benites Jr. from Port Orange in Florida, part of the Scuderi Buell. And once again, Crosslink Kiwi have a huge history in this championship. And with Alex Crosbie in that team and Barrett Wolf, they've got a good chance of more points. They've won the title many times in F4. We need another Australian, Josh Carr, back in the day, a few years ago. Quimby still holding on, but the gap has come down from 1 second to half a second. So here with 4 minutes to go, and we'll get the white flag fairly soon in a couple of laps. There's still time for Stati to make his mark on this race. Nicolas Stati from Dalkeith in Australia, Western Australia. There he is. You can see the gap for yourself now. He's just got to put the pressure on. Ooh, he got some oversteer there, but he grabbed it well, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's so much about the hands and the feet working together. You can make a mistake while racing, but it's how you catch it and how you recover from that mistake. That is actually what racing really is. It's not all about going in a straight line. It's about constantly making mistakes here, going too hard there, too fast there, and correcting those mistakes and then going on.
Yep. I had some experience with that earlier this weekend. A couple spins on track.
Oh, okay.
But it was in the hardest parts of the track, so I did get to learn what the car's limit is, and helped me for.
Well, again, you know, it's still a learning expression, situation, because once you find that limit, and then you know not to do it again, or at least you know when it's coming, or you can sense it's coming, and that's when you get that quick jolt reaction to the car, so that you know that you can catch it, as we call it in racing, and catch the car from sliding. And the whole idea is to keep it going in a straight line, but of course, it's got a mind of its own sometimes. So we're going to have a cracking finish to this, because Benites Jr. has put in some cracking laps. In fact, he's just done his fastest lap of 1:32.131. And so Benites is flying right now in the closing stage of this. 2 minutes to go. And Quimby, if you didn't know it, is under massive pressure now, but so too is Stati. Just when he was concentrating on trying to get the win, he's now got Benites right behind him. And they are on wet weather tyres, interestingly enough. So those will be in the dry now, and the sunshine coming out will be going off a little bit, which is why we're seeing them slide as much as they are. But now you see the gap from above. So he's got a healthy lead. He's taken it back up to 0.8. And so Quimby has reacted just a little bit to what's going on behind him. Crosbie trying to recover from 4th place. Now I'm just having a look at the big tower to see where the white flag is coming out. They might get another lap in before the white flag comes out, if we're lucky. What's the hardest part of this track for you?
At the start, it was turn 1. As for the JS F4 cars, it's just a lift in 4th gear.
Yeah.
So needed a lot of confidence for that corner. But I believe it's really the elevation changes that get you as a driver.
Sure. Last lap then, and still out front as he's been since the start of this race. Daniel Quimby of Australia leads the way from Nicolas. Stati, also of Australia, different parts, but one from Sydney, the other from Dalkeith. But right now, the Fiji Airways sponsored car is flying, and he's done a good job of maintaining the gap to no less than half a second. It's back to half a second again. He had it up to 0.8 at this point last lap, but as you can see, it's down to half a second again. Benites Jr. not getting any closer than he was earlier. And right now, Quimby on his way to another victory. This championship shaping up nicely. This is only halfway in the season. A lot of races still to come, as you mentioned, going to New Jersey next. It all finishes off at Coda, so you get to race on a Formula 1 circuit. Looking forward to that?
Oh, yeah. I'm extremely excited. It's going to be a crazy track as well.
Oh, yeah.
First turns also not really visible.
It's totally, the single seater, you can't see a thing going up that top. Yeah, very, very tricky. Caught a few people out. Now Quimby pushing on hard as the tyres start to go off, but he doesn't need them anymore. He just needs to get through this corner of the carousel and take the checkered flag, which he does. So Quimby wins for Australia. Second place, Nicolas Stati, who had the pole, but settled for second in this one. And Pablo Benites Jr. of Florida takes third. Good race in the end. And I actually thought Quimby was going to run off with it, but the others started to catch him quickly. Do you think Pablo will be happy with that?
Yeah, always podium's a great finish, so great result. Yeah, I think the whole team will be happy with that.
Good. Well, listen, I know you've got to get ready. You're still here in your overalls, I'll tell the fans, but Just quickly tell it. Do you have social and all that? Do you go out and tell everybody where we can find you?
Yep. So I do have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything.
And what is the link? What is the?
You can search my name,
Okay.
Rafal Wolosz, or
Rafal Wolosz, spelt RAFALWOLOSZ, as is the Polish way. Well, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Best of luck in your race.
thank you.
And great stuff once again by Quimby, holding on, Daniel Quimby, to take victory here. We'll take a short break from Mid-Ohio. Still more to come from the Speed Tour. Stay with us. Cool.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.